In the latest chapter of One Piece, chapter 1103, we see something quite interesting, where amongst the chaos before Kuma arrives to try and save his daughter with the fatherly impact, Bonnie attempts to change Saturn's age, but it doesn't work, and she's perplexed. What is going on here? Why is his age changing? Now, of course, we all know, based on the theories, that St. J. Garcia Saturn likely has everlasting life. The reasons why, not too sure. It could involve lost immortality surgery. Let's say someone in the past had that ability and then they did it on J. Garcia Saturn, and potentially the other Goro, say, since we have seen in flashbacks where they look virtually the same here. And this will also apply to Imu as well. So the reason why J's age won't change by an age-altering human is because literally his age won't change. He has everlasting life to some extent, to some degree. However, there is also the possibility which involves Haki. And this is where things do get very interesting, because this could be an example of what we saw Law do previously before fighting against Blackbeard. Where in chapter 1063, after being turned into a female, which got a lot of people across the entire fandom riled up. Woo!
I'm finna go get you. Oh!
Of course, obviously not me. No, not I, because I am a decent human being. I am a solid lad. Absolutely, yes. Trust me, okay?
No.
Thing here, though, is that after being turned to a woman, he was able to overcome the gender-altering disease by utilizing intense enough Haki. And that is something that he himself learned on the rooftop, where he tried to move Big Mom and Kaido in his room, but he said that he could not do so because their Haki was so tremendous, it was preventing him from moving them in his room. To what extent or level per se their Haki was at, we have really no idea, because Haki levels aren't set in stone. They're very ambiguous. They're very amorphous in the world of One Piece. There is not a Seven Deadly Sid's magic power level, or a Toriko Gourmet level, or a Dragon Ball Z Scouter power level. No, for the most part in One Piece, they have a lot of Haki. That's really all it comes down to. And therefore, by default, they could negate the effects of Law's room. And when we first see St. J. Garcia Saturn touch down on the island, we see in chapter 1095 these gigantic streaks of black lightning in the sky. And one of the Marines notes that, where even though the sky was clear, he could see these flashes of lightning, and they were confusing him. Keep in mind that this may be a sign that it's not Haki, but something else entirely, because this is a fodder Marine. Normally, Haki is invisible to the vast majority of people. Remember, in the pre-time skip, people were using Haki a lot of times, but we couldn't see that Haki because the main cast of characters couldn't see that Haki. But the idea is that that is the norm, where Haki, for the most part, is invisible. But because we see it constantly in terms of the hardening and then the infusion with the Conqueror's Haki and so on and so forth, it's far more pronounced visually, obviously, than it was in the pre-time skip. But that being said, let's assume for this video's sake that what he's using is Haki. This could be one of the, I think, the best abilities of Haki, whether it's armament or it's conquerors or a combination of those two, all three in some way, I don't know. But I think the ability to negate abilities wholesale is a tremendously powerful aspect of Haki in and of itself. Because when you consider how many broken powers there are in the world of One Piece, how many are just swept away, blow away by just the sheer magnitude of Haki that a powerful Haki user could display. So, for example, you have someone like Kujaku, who can whip a building or whip people into submission. Well, with strong enough Haki, that just wouldn't work. You wouldn't become the masochist she and Oda definitely want you to be. That would not happen. Someone like Pudding couldn't just reach into the mind of a strong Haki user and pull their memories, because their Haki would be so tremendous, her powers would be ineffective. Or let's say even in the process of that happening, they could exert their Haki, and then while she's in the midst of doing that, looking at the memory film, her body goes back to normal and her powers stop working on them. Obviously, someone like Perona was pretty damn scary in Thriller Bark, because she's able to put down Zoro and Luffy and Sanji and Frankie because of her ghost. All because of Usopp's natural negativity was able to actually overcome her ghost. But in of itself, that is a very scary ability, to where it just seeps through your body and then you just feel negative, you feel depressed for a period of time, and it didn't matter who you are. However, would that work on someone like Kaido or Big Mom? There's a good chance no. Reason why? Because their Haki level is so high. Their Haki pool is so massive. Their quality of Haki is so dense and refined. However Oda wants to really go about it, their Haki is to the point where Perona's ghost will be ineffective against them. Or let's say maybe they do get slightly sad, but it's for a split second, then they just break out of it. This could even apply to Sugar, where Sugar has a phenomenally powerful ability at base, where Sugar, she can touch you and turn you into a toy. But someone like Kaido, touch Kaido, turn to toy? No, not happening. Why? The Haki game of Kaido is just too phenomenal. It's too studly, and by default, her powers would not work on him, even though her powers at base are probably one of the most busted abilities in the verse. The same thing would go for Q. Would you have a female Kaido? I don't want to go in that direction, whether it's a female Kaido or a male Big Mom, Big Father. Oh, Capone, that already exists. However, it wouldn't work on those two when their Haki game is on point naturally and they're just chilling, like we saw on the rooftop. And the same thing would probably apply to Foxy's Noda Beam. Noda Beam, not gonna work when the Haki game is just too strong. You can argue, in some sense, this may relate to the idea that Kaido put out there, where Haki can transcend all things. People that try and apply their powers to you, they can be overcome or even flat out negated because someone's Haki game is just too damn studly. As long as you're aware of that fact. Keep in mind that Law did not know that was a thing up until he experienced what he experienced on the rooftop. Then he remembered that, and then he used that in that Q situation. So let's say in the future, if someone like Luffy runs into Q, he may actually turn into a female Luffy for a prolonged period of time, even more so than Law, until he does it, let's say, naturally, or someone tells him use your Haki to break out of it, and then that'll happen. So the person themselves has to know that rule, where Haki can allow you to break out of abilities, and right now, potentially, not many folks may know about this. But someone like J. Garcia Saturn, considering his age, he may be aware of the effects of Haki on devil fruits. Keep in mind that this is probably not a carte blanche thing, where no powers at all can work on a strong Haki user. There is a good chance where, let's say for example, Boa Hancock, she is powerful without a damn doubt, and her Haki we know is superfluous. But could her powers, let's say, affect Kaido? Maybe not turn him into stone with a Nodu, but let's say she kicked Kaido and Kaido blocked with his hand. Well, let's say his palm turned to stone somewhat? Potentially. Because even though Kaido has strong Haki, so does Boa Hancock. And we have seen the case here with Law and Kid's awakenings on Big Mom still affecting her. Whether it was the re-room thing and so it was all silence, shush, or it was Kid even applying magnetism to Big Mom, where he was able to actually bypass the natural Haki defenses of Big Mom and slap on that S right on her forehead. How could he do that? How did he facepalm her with magnetism? Well, part of the reason could be because he himself also does have, at least on paper, strong Haki. He has all three Haki types on paper: Armament, Observation, and Conqueror's Haki. And in of itself, you could argue this could amplify the powers of his Devil ability. Or in of itself, his abilities are so powerful, his awakening, where they can overcome the ability negating effects of Haki. Which is why it worked. But let's say for Big Mom, it worked for a short window of time, but for someone weaker than Big Mom that does not have the same level of Haki as Big Mom, let's say someone like Smoothie, if Kid were to facepalm Smoothie with an S or an N, and he applies magnetism to her, she would likely be magnetized for a way longer period of time compared to Big Mom, where she was stuck to that one wall for, let's say, a few seconds. She busted out of that and then kept it pushing. But for Smoothie, it could, let's say, be there for several minutes before it goes away, or maybe even like indefinitely until the fight is over. Something of that sort, who really knows? Because again, these things are all very ambiguous and based right now mostly on theories of what we can kind of guess could be the case here. Oda likes being vague with a lot of his power systems. Devil fruits, not necessarily. Haki, oh, abso-positively lootly. A lot of things with Haki are not necessarily set in stone, they're set in sand, but this does make, I would say for damn sure, an interesting line of thought. So let me know what you think about this subject in the comment section down below. If you enjoy your boys' video content, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'ma catch you cats on the flip side.
See you. Bye bye.